Mm, No, I'm joking. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Authentic Analysis with Kay. And today I wanted to do another YouTube video about my ancestry. Sorry about the quality of the camera. I'm working off my laptop and it's not great. So hopefully I'll be getting a new laptop soon, or maybe I'll get a webcam. But this is how I know how to record with my face and then have ancestry in the background. So I'll be basically piggybacking off what I did in my last video, but I'll be able to show what I was talking about basically through the different DNA websites. So hopefully this makes it a bit more easier for people that understand things more visually. So yeah, so I'll get straight into it and show you basically my steps and my progress through ancestry, what I do and what I did, and basically how I make it work. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, and we are back. I am on Ancestry now, so I wanted to show you what I was talking about previously. I have a bit of Bailey's, and it's very late, so if my eyes look very tired, it's because it is come up to midnight. Well, 11:30. So, this is the ethnicity estimate page. So do you know what? When you first take ancestry tests, right, you're waiting a good while. Like I'll say, if you take ancestry or any DNA test, put it in the back of your mind for a good few months and just forget about it. Because in me, I was sitting there thinking, oh my god, I can't wait, and it's a long process. So realistically, when you get your results and you get that email saying your results are ready, you want to go in there and be like, oh, I'm interested. No, I'm not saying it like that. But you want to say, okay, I'm interested in the regions that I'm from. But realistically, I wanted to know who I was going to match to. So I would like to show my matches, but I have to learn how to blank them out and stuff like that. So until I do that, I won't really show the matches. But I'm going to go through my DNA results on a different website and then go through my tree a little bit and what I do, like I said earlier on. So these are the regions that Ancestry have said I'm from. So at 27%, like I said before, you got Ivory Coast and Ghana. You got Benin and Togo at 27%, Nigeria at 26%, Mali at 13%, Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples at 3%, Senegal at 2%, and Sardinia at 1%, and England and Northwestern Europe at 1%. Then when you scroll down, it will give you what you've inherited from your paternal and inherited from your maternal side. You can also check out the chromosome painter, which breaks the segments down. But I'm still learning about that, so I can't really explain how it works. Then, based on your matches, um, communities form when we identify ancestry DNA members whose ancestors probably came from the same place or cultural group, and it's giving me Afro Jamaicans, which is correct. Then, if you click on that, it just basically gives you a rundown of um, Afro Jamaicans and its communities. Um, so, yeah, I don't want to show too much because obviously the names are there. So if I go back into DNA story and you click on each of those regions, it will basically give you a little breakdown of what the percentage are. So it's a margin. So it goes from, it says your your ethnicity estimate is 27%, but it can range from 26 to 57. So I'm not sure if I mentioned in a previous video, when I first took my DNA test, Nigeria was at the top at a lot higher, like a good 30 something percent. And obviously now it's gone down. So I'm not really sure how it adjusts. And Sardinia wasn't there before. So now it's recently just kind of, not want to say updated or uploaded, but it's been on there recently. But Sardinia is linked to my paternal side, and England and Northwestern Europe is linked to my maternal side. So if we move on to DNA matches, so I'm just going to go through each section of each tabs and then go from there. So it shows my paternal side. So I've got this many matches, and my maternal side at this many matches. Sorry if you can hear background, because I don't know, outside is always loud. There's people always running up and down screaming. So on my paternal side, it shows the last names that are like the most common surnames of my paternal side, the matches. I wouldn't say so far that it is common, because when I've gone through the trees that are accessible, I haven't really seen too many similar. Um, there's maybe one surname that I've seen, and this is my paternal side's the most matches are from St. Lucia. So when you click on the common communities, it gives you Lesser Antilles, African Caribbeans, early North Carolina African Americans, early Virginia African Americans, and Indian diaspora in the Caribbean and Fiji. So if you click on that, all it really does is basically take you, or it took me back to my, uh, let's see, I think it takes me back to my DNA, the 8 regions that I was from. My internet's a bit slow. Yeah. It would be nice if you could click on it. It could tell you a bit more about why those communities came up. But yeah, that hasn't really come up yet. So that's what it gives me. Based on obviously certain islands like St. Lucia, Grenada, that would come up as Lesser Antilles, which is why it's giving me that. On my maternal side, it's giving me the common surnames of Powell, Williams, Gordon, and Edwards, um, which I guess helps when you're doing a family tree to work on certain aspects. And this is my paternal side. And the only thing that kind of baffled me a little bit is obviously I have Afro Jamaicans there, which has put me already as the common communities which I'm from, but it's giving me Eastern China and Southeast Asia. So unless I haven't gone through my matches properly, I can probably count how many matches are from those communities. So I'm not really sure why I put it as that, but Ancestry knows best, I suppose. And then you've got the section of both sides. So you might have someone that's related to both sides of your family. So you could have someone that's related to you from a great great grandparent on your maternal side and a 4 times grandparent on your paternal side, which obviously they show they're related on both sides, and the DNA match is a bit stronger because they're on both sides. And obviously, with if you start doing your research into Caribbean islands, you can understand why you might get that. I'm surprised I've only got one. I'm pretty sure there's more, but this is what Ancestry has given me so far, and there's no common surnames with matches on both sides. And then you've got your unassigned matches, people that they can't figure out if it's on a paternal or maternal. But if you individually click on that person and you scroll down, if you go into shared matches, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out what side they're on if it shows shared matches. So I'm just going to see if I can have a look without showing too many names. Okay, so I thought I'd go back and I wanted to click on an unassigned match. Um, based on the surnames, you can kind of, it should, maybe the surnames and if you've got any shared matches, what side they're related to, but I'm not sure why Ancestry can't figure it out. So this is one of my matches. Oh, sorry, I showed it too much, but we share 1,387 centimorgans, which is what you measure. Well, I don't know if it's an ancestry thing or what, if that's how DNA is measured, but um, DNA matches are measured in centimorgans. So you know how um, your height is measured in either centimeters or meters or feet. Your DNA matches are measured in centimorgans and across 36 segments. Um, so it's saying this person, the percentage of them being a grandparent, grandchild, half sibling, aunt or uncle, nephew, niece or nephew is 85%. And obviously this match is a female, so it's not going to be an uncle and obviously it's not going to be a nephew. And judging this person's age, they are about 60. So I think they're too young to be my grandparent. Obviously, they can't be a grandchild. Definitely don't think it's a sibling. So the only option for me that makes sense is that they're an aunt. And it gives you 40% of first cousin, great grandparents, so on and so forth. And obviously, it says DNA evidence may support or contradict other forms of evidence and may point to different sources of evidence. Other possible relationships between people should also be considered. So, obviously, Ancestry is given a disclaimer to say, we've given you this, but other evidence might show a variety. So, you obviously check your sources, check the age, and obviously to verify how you're related to that person. So, yeah, I'm going to move on to the next section. So this is the tree that I'm working on. I'm not saying that it's absolutely correct, but I'm working here and there. So I might have people there that I take off, take on, delete. And this is what I generally do day to day to work on adding on my family tree. This is my granddad's on my maternal side. This is his side, and that's the side that's more full because I had more information to work with. So my granddad's currently 92 years old. He's taken a DNA test. So I was able to find his mother. The father is still at a standstill, and that is what is aggravating me the most, because this is where majority of my matches are from. This person here. So my granddad is okay. My granddad's birth certificate. The mother was obviously put on there as Aretha Millwood, and his father. It wasn't. He wasn't. He didn't sign the birth certificate as a father, but he signed it as basically as a witness, or no, occupant. It said occupant at the residence, and that person was Arthur Reed. So when you start searching up family records, which I'm going to show you what I use, or what, not even say what I use, but what I've learned to use from different websites, from different Facebook groups, and I will try and go through that without showing too much, because I don't want to have people's names on there, but I don't think I'll be able to show it because it'll be difficult. So on my granddad's birth certificate, had his name, date of birth, had the mother's name, um, and where my granddad was born, and Arthur Reed signed it as the occupant at the address. So obviously Arthur Reed and my granddad is Frank Reed. It would be strange for, I assume maybe he didn't sign it as a father because they weren't married. That's the only thing I can really think of. Or maybe my granddad's father was married to someone else, or whatever the case may be. But this has left me at a big, big, big standstill. So it is so frustrating that I cannot link all these people that I've matched with, my granddad's matched with, because I don't know who this person is. In my opinion, I don't think Arthur Reed is really Arthur Reed. Yeah, so I'm just on a hunt to look for that. So if you can't link a person to your tree, this is going to be so complicated to explain. So what you would do, you would go to a random person, add in, say if I had a Elizabeth Johnson, I add her in as, maybe for instance, Golden Millwood, I add her as a sister. You delete the relationship and work on that person and make a tree from that and see if you can get links. I know that sounds complicated. But once I get much better into this computer software and covering up names, I can explain it a bit better. But this is my main thing that I'm focused on. Like, I understand that the ancestry from where your DNA, where you're from, and the regions is important, but I really want to figure out these links that I have. So that is maybe there's something else I'll show you on Ancestry. So what I also use on here, so obviously got my tree people on there. I use a lot of message boards, which is really, really good. So when I load onto there, I will show you. Sorry for this poor internet service. I'm disappointed. So this are the message boards. I would usually obviously go into Lord. I will go into more. Yep, so we can go into Caribbean. And then obviously you go into the island that you want to. I'd go into Jamaica. And then you would go from there. So you can go into general, which has got a lot of messages. The last one was the 26th of November. So you've got the message boards. You can go into each county and then work from there. I don't know if people post as much anymore in there, but it was good for me to look through and see what was there. So that is it for Ancestry. If you've got any questions, please leave in the comments below and I will try my best to answer. If you have any links or anything like that, or we are a DNA match, please feel free to comment and we can work from there, and I'll definitely be interested in, connecting together. So I am back again with 23andMe. So when I took my ancestry test, I took that I think in maybe 2020. So obviously, and TN23andMe is a bit more on the price, not pricier, but I'll say about £80, £79, £80. I always feel like they say it's on sale, but I feel like it's always the same price. So unless I'm missing something, I don't know. But I was really excited to take 23andMe because it was so hard initially to think, what test should I take first? Ancestry or 23 with me? Or 23andMe. But I'm really glad I done Ancestry first, because Ancestry has I work with that a lot more than anything else. So yeah, definitely take Ancestry first, because Ancestry database is a lot bigger. And then obviously once, if you've got the money to do so, work with the other DNA test. So with 23andMe, it gives you a few of reports, as in terms of what your DNA shows that you may have or have not. There's certain things that's to do with health that you won't have access to. You have to pay extra for, which is the same as Ancestry. You can pay for your traits. Yeah, that's it. So with that 23andMe, I think you get your traits for free, but the health stuff, like, diabetes and what else, weight, muscle and stuff like that, you have to pay extra for. Um, gives you maternal haplogroup. So I need to, yeah, so we can click into that. But I've seen my maternal haplogroup. So it says my maternal haplogroup is L3D15. As our ancestors ventured out of Eastern Africa, they branched off in diverse groups that crossed and recrossed the globe over tens of thousands of years. So basically, it gives you a little breakdown of the haplogroup. So obviously started as L, then it crossed over to L3. Then the more that it come in today, the haplogroups, I don't know what the word, it progressed, I guess. So it says my haplogroup is relatively uncommon among 23andMe customers. Yeah, so it says it's quite rare. It's 1 in 1,700, and 23 customers share my haplogroup, which I wish Ancestry done. And it gives you a lot of, if you're into a lot of reading and stuff like that, which I'm really keen to do that. So I should take some time and go into that, and explains your haplogroups and where it may have gone or where it has gone. So you got your same thing. You got your DNA relatives. You got your family tree. So we're going to go to Ancestry composition, which should be the breakdown. I mean, I'm really bad with breaking this stuff down. Yeah, so this is the correct one. So obviously it gives me at 100%. So like I was saying before, as I explained it was hard to explain it with 23andMe because it got so many breakdowns. So maybe by mouth it was hard to explain it. So the sub-Saharan African was at 97.1%. So underneath that, so a subgroup of the sub-Saharan African, it gives me 91.8%, and it breaks that down. So I've got Ghanaian, Liberian, and Sierra Leonean at 49%, which was different to Ancestry. We've got Nigerian at 36%, which Ancestry said, I think, 26. Senegambian and Guinean at 3.1%. Broadly West African at 4%. Then it gives you a good explanation about that. Then you got your second West African subgroup, which is Congolese and Southeast African at 5.1%. So it gives me Southeast African at 2.6%, Angolan and Congolese at 2.1%, broadly Congolese and Southeast African at 0.4%, and African hunter-gatherer at 0.2%. Then it gives me 2.7% of European, which is tiny bit higher than Ancestry, but it's take with a pinch of salt. You've got Northwest European at 2.2%. British, sorry, no, let's start again, sorry. The European is 2.7%, and they're breaking down those, so it's not 4 altogether, it's 2.7 as European as a whole. Then you've got the Northwestern European at 2.2%. Ireland as far as Norway, Finland, so I'm not really sure about the breakdown of that. British Irish at 2%, and broadly Northwest European at 0.2%, and I got 0.5% of Eastern European. Then I've got another 0.2% unassigned, which I can't obviously figure out where it was from. So the only thing that I would like someone to answer for me is, how far back do they trace that European? Like, how far back is my ancestor for it to show on me? So with my granddad, obviously it's me, obviously then my mum, then my granddad's. So he's got about 5% European and I've got 2. So I don't know how far back. So where is my European ancestor, if that makes sense? So is it my 3 times grandparent or 4 times for it to show in my DNA? So obviously I have a small amount, but obviously it's enough to show. And what I really like about 23andMe is that it shows the recent ancestries in the Americas. So we found evidence of your ancestry in the following locations. People from these regions can often trace their ancestry to different historically separate populations, which is really, this is the part I like, which I wish was ancestry. So if we click in the Caribbean, it gives me two likely matches of Jamaica and St. Lucia, which obviously is showing me ancestry, but ancestry doesn't show me, for me, that my common communities is an African, the Lesser Antilles, if that makes sense. But TN23andMe shows that these two places are where my ancestors probably migrated to in the recent years. So Jamaica, I know, is on my maternal side, and St. Lucia's on my paternal side. Um, so yeah, if we go into Jamaica, which I love again, it says Jamaica has 14 administrative regions, and we found the strongest evidence of your ancestry in the following 8 regions. So I don't think it shows. No, it doesn't show. Hold on. One, two, three, four. No, it only shows me the regions that I'm linked to. So it don't have all the parishes. It gives me St. Elizabeth, which is the strongest one, which I know is definitely the closest link to Arthur Reed, which is my granddad's father. So whatever link I find, I have a very strong inkling feeling that my granddad's dad, because my granddad said to me that his dad was from St. Thomas, which he may be born in St. Thomas, but his family is definitely from St. Elizabeth, because majority of my granddad's top matches, I can say a good 96% is from St. Elizabeth. So my granddad's grandparents on his dad's side is probably St. Elizabeth, and maybe my granddad's dad went to St. Thomas. But obviously going by this, like you can see, there's no St. Thomas in this list. The next one is Manchester, which I've seen a lot of. So with St. Elizabeth, with the places that I've seen a bit of Black River. I spoke to one of my links. I said about Junction, and obviously you can see that between Junction and Manchester, it's pretty much a walkover. So it's not uncommon for it to then be people, moving parishes. I haven't really seen too many matches from these places, but obviously it's not uncommon. But definitely St. Elizabeth is coming up quite a lot. Then you've got Manchester. If I go back into it a little bit more, it's not really showing a lot of the towns in Manchester. St. Andrew is where my granddad was. Well, my granddad was born in Kingston, which is obviously outside the parish, but it's very close. That's where my granddad was born. And majority of my granddad's maternal side is from St. Andrew. So my granddad's great granddad, his name is Robinson Millwood. He was from St. Andrew. And majority of not majority, my granddad's brother and sisters from born in St. Andrew, because his mum had him there, and then I guess my granddad was the last sibling, well, that we know of, and he was born in Kingston. So definitely Lawrence Tavern comes up a lot. Golden Spring quite a bit. Gordon Town not as much. And I forgot there's another town that in St. Andrew that a lot of the family's from, but definitely Lawrence Taverna comes up quite a lot. You can't really zoom in because it doesn't show you much. So it's not showing you what, I can't remember Port Antonio where the whip parish that is. That's terrible. I should know. If we go to Clarendon, I haven't found any links there yet, but apparently based on this, it's giving me that's where I'm from. St. Anne's Parish, I haven't really seen much links there, so that's something I need to work on. So I'm not sure if it's which side that's come from. St. Mary would definitely be from my maternal grandmother's side. So my mum's mother, I know parishes changes. So she was from St. Catherine, but obviously I don't really understand how the towns within the parishes changes, but sometimes you have parishes that the names have changed or they've got origin of those parishes. So they've put the certain towns in a different parish. So Guys Hill, when my grandmother was registered, it was Guy's Hill, St. Catherine. It wasn't as St. Mary's at that time then. She was born in the 1930s. So I assume, I don't know if this is based on 23's map, but they've put Guy's Hill and St. Mary's. So I'm not sure because it's on the border. Because I'm definitely, yeah, this area here is St. Catherine. Because I know Guy's Hill, I don't know if because it's bordering, they've put them in between the two, but Guy's Hill is she's registered in St. Catherine. And you've got Bog Walk, that's in St. Catherine. Or if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. And Spanish Town. So Spanish Town and Guy's Hill are the two that I'm common with. The other I'm not so sure with as of yet. Um, then you got Port Royal, which is part of St Andrew as well, which is I know. Um, what was the other place? Yeah, Port Maria. So my grandmother's side, on my maternal side, um, her last name is Martin, and a lot of the Martins are from Port Maria originally. So my grandmother's mother is Ada Martin, and I think she was born in Port Maria because I'm getting a lot of Martins there. So what you find with a certain surnames, they belong to a certain parish. Not saying that people can't move, but you'll see a majority of those names in those certain parishes, which is kind of helpful. Then you got the next one for me is Westmoreland. No clue about here. New Hope, slightly. Negril, not too sure, but I haven't seen any matches there yet. Then you got Trelawney, which I've seen a few of, but I haven't seen any strong links there. And it doesn't show you the names of the other parishes, but the ones that you're linked to. But it's put St. Elizabeth as the strongest one. So if anyone can give me some more information about these parishes, would be really helpful. So as in terms of my family tree, in St. Andrew, this is where my Millwood family is from. So my granddad's maternal side, the majority of them are Millwoods, and they're all from here. So Robinson Millwood. I'm going to start talking about names because obviously I think if I start speaking about the names, it might spur someone to comment on my video. So Robinson Mill was born in, well, let me say he was born, but he was basically living majority of his life in St Andrew. He died at about 101, and he maybe got married. He got married twice. He had a good amount of children, but he pretty much stayed in the St Andrew parish area. Um, St Mary. I'm going to say St Mary slash St Elizabeth. St Catherine. Sorry, but we'll go with St Mary. Um, that is the Martin side. So anybody from that has the surname Martin in previous generations from Port Maria or Guy's Hill, please feel free to contact me because maybe we'll have some links there if you're a link to me on Ancestry. Trelawney, who can I say is from Trelawney? I'm pretty sure that's my granddad's dad's side, but I can't really say what surnames. But I know St Andrew is Millwood. St Elizabeth is giving me lots of Powells. Um, what's the other surnames? I'm going to stick with Powell now because that's the closest link. But anyone from Powell's in that area, please feel free to contact me. Then you have St Lucia at highly likely match, but they cannot identify which specific region. I don't know because they don't have a lot of they don't know how to link them yet. But so far, I know Castries because that's where the match that I showed you previously. That I think that she's aunt. She's from grew up in Castries, but she was born in Dennery. So those are the two. But the rest of St Lucia, I have no clue about because this is very new to me. So that is 23andMe so far. I can go to my DNA relatives. You can go to your list, but obviously I don't want to show too many names. So I can show the tree. So if I go to the name, it will basically ask you to fit in a certain parents, and it gives you your DNA matches. I don't know how good it is, but basically these are my matches, some of them, and it basically shows they've placed them on the tree, and you have to figure out which parent that where it goes on each side. So I'm not sure if it's right, but basically on who was on 20 Ancestry, I kind of done it from there, but definitely would say that it's not 100% accurate now. Okay, guys, I was going to show my heritage, which is another DNA website that you basically take your DNA from Ancestry 23andMe and upload it onto there, and the other websites that I use. And I was going to show you Family Search. That's where you get all the, let me say all, majority of the birth, death, marriage, immigration records. If you don't have Ancestry, it's a free site. But this video was getting way too long, and the website that I'm using is veed.io. I don't want to take the risk that I record and it doesn't work out. So I'll probably stop it here, make this a part one of a visual aid of Ancestry, upload it, then go to part two, depending on how it goes. But thank you for tuning in. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share. I really love interacting with people that commented on my last videos. Thank you so much, guys. So anything to share, please feel free to do so. And I'll be back with a part two. I don't know why I'm doing that, but see you later. I'll go to my heritage now and show you a few other things. So stay tuned.